Appreciate y'all having us today. Appreciate y'all having us today.
Let's get it. Feels good out here today, no?
Magnificent day out.
See a lot of blue and orange. I think I see a little bit too much red and black, but it's okay. You know, we'll let everybody live today.
We'll let them slide today, right?
We'll let them live today. I want to welcome everybody in to the DNVR Broncos pregame show presented by Coors Light. You can get Coors Light delivered straight to your door with Instacart by going to CoorsLight.com/DNVR. You got to celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company in Golden, Colorado. Myself and my man Jurrell, Casey, I'm Todd Davis. We're missing one piece, no Sean Moreno. Everybody flew from Atlanta to come here for the game, but he decided to go back to watch his Georgia Bulldogs. They did get a win, you know what I'm saying? But he will be back for the post-game show, so we won't miss him for long. But how you feeling today, man? How do you feel about the Broncos versus the Falcons
amazing,
tonight?
dude. I think it's a great matchup today. I think it's going to be a beautiful one today. I think, got two great opponents who's coming out fighting for a good spot in the playoffs. Both sitting in great positions. You got the Falcons sitting at 6-4. You got the Broncos at 5-5. Talk about a fight today.
Yeah.
We're gonna use since my dude No Shine out here today. We're gonna say this one's gonna be a slobber knocker today. I think everybody out there know they got to go out here and fight on both sides of the ball. It's gonna be big for our defense. Our defense been big. They've been stepping up to the challenge every week, and it's going to be one of those weeks. Kirk Cousins is out there having a big season right now. He's getting the Falcons back on the road, so it's going to be big for our DBs, and this defense is come be ready for the challenge for sure.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a big game for everybody. I sat down with Justin Simmons today, and he talked about the magnitude of the
chilling
game.
with the ops over here,
yeah.
right? See,
you know what I'm saying? I think he's always a Bronco, though. You know what I'm saying? He spoke very highly of Bo Nix and the Broncos teams, so I had to chop it up with him about his return to Denver. But I think everybody understands how important this game is for the Broncos. You look at the back half of their schedule, it would be great to go into that with one game to lose,
Definitely.
So I think it's a big game for the Broncos and the Falcons. So let's get into the game. Let's talk about some of these key matchups. They have some good players on their team, and we can't lie. They have talent. I think they're not as good as their talent right now.
Definitely.
But we got to talk about this team and some of the breakdown. So we got Drake London versus Pat Surtain. How do you see that matchup shaking out?
That's gonna be probably one of the biggest battles today. You got Drake London, someone who's out there has been a big production for their team. Him and Kirk Cousins finding chemistry early, and Kirk Cousins just getting over there for a year. It's been actually surprising to see them clicking the way they're clicking. But we got a special dog in our DB, Surtain, and when it comes to rising to the challenge, it's something he does special, and he's going to be ready for any challenge to come by him. I think Drake London, he got great routes.
Yeah.
But Surtain, talk about being able to be on a guy back pocket and be able to not just do that, but reroute guys and throw them and put them in position where he can make plays. I think that's where we win.
For sure. I think that he's Kurt's favorite target. So when you talk about putting together a game plan, you want to take away the primary receiver or their favorite target. So I think having Pat Surtain on him is going to be the best way to do it. He had 90 yards last week, so it felt like him and Kirk are trying to, get into a stride. But, we want to do what we can to kind of take that out of the running. Next one, I feel like this is a tough one because you talk about, dynamic running backs. They have a really dynamic running back on their side. Oh, shout out to the, what's up? Oh, no, you got to put that Falcon side down, you know what I'm saying? It's Broncos, baby.
Bronco Nation, make some noise.
Broncos Country, let's go, baby. So we got to talk about Bijan Robinson versus Cody Barton and Justice Stranad. Bijan is, a top 5 back when he really gets it going. Last week he had over 5 yards to carry. We don't want to have another week with him, having that many yards per carry. So how do they, stop Bijan Robinson today?
This is where it becomes our problem. You know, we had a hard time so far in the season where we stopping the run, and we know sometimes we let guys get a couple extra yak than we want to. But the last couple of weeks, we have been doing an excellent job defending the run, which, you know, come to not just our linebackers, but the guys up front.
Yeah.
Zach Allen, Jones, Franklin. Those guys are playing monster ball up front right now. And if those guys keep producing and letting our linebackers fly around, which Vince Joseph draws up beautifully, letting these guys hit from different angles, I think our defensive run game is definitely ready for the challenge. Now, this is a special back. He's a guy who can make guys miss. He's pretty quick and shifty out there in the backfield, but I think we're ready for the challenge.
Now, as a D lineman, like, why are they playing at such a high level? Like, what are you seeing on film that really sets them apart from the other D linemen in the league?
The biggest thing I think is they just got guys who's going.
Yeah.
Like at the beginning of the year, I was over here a little skeptical about the slanting, doing too much moving up front.
Yeah.
But just talk about guys who know how to hit the hole going full speed, head down, know how to ricochet off blocks and get upfield. These is not guys who's slanting downfield and just getting washed down the field, down the sideline.
Yep.
These are guys who's pushing upfield, getting across the ball line of scrimmage, and making plays in the backfield. And when you get defensive linemen who can make plays in the run game, in the pass game, in the backfield, constant pressure, constant sacks, constant TFLs, you got a special defense right there, and not just a special defense, a special defensive line front. And I appreciate y'all guys. Keep balling every week.
Yeah, I think they're playing at a really high level. If it looks like I'm squinting a lot, it's because the sun is out and it's a beautiful day. And if you aren't out here at the DNVR tailgate, you're missing out. It's a great time. You got beer pong going on. I know we'll whoop somebody at beer pong like we did last time we were out here. So you guys need to come out here to the tailgate, have a good time. We got pizza. We got fans. We're definitely enjoying ourselves. All right, the last matchup on the defensive side of the ball that I had was Kyle Pitts versus Brandon Jones. Now, Kyle Pitts, you know, they don't utilize him as much as you probably think you should, as he's first-round tight end, you know, should get a lot of touches. But he's a very, very talented player. And, you know, over my time or, you know, the last 10 years as a Broncos player and fan, we've kind of struggled with some big names tight ends in the past. How do we, you know, hold Kyle Pitts to, you know, minimal yardage?
This is the tricky part of the ball game. I think for our defense, we haven't seen too much tight end action other than KC when you know you go against Kelsey. A lot of guys don't use their tight ends that much against us, so it's going to be a nice challenge for PJ Locke and them guys to come out there and be locked down. But we got a special DB and safety in PJ Locke who played great ball, so I think he's going to be ready for the challenge, and he's going to come in and be able to line up and be there for Kyle Pitts. And when they trying to use him as, you know, big shots and stuff like that, get him down, taking those sideline shots, I think he's going to be ready for the challenge.
Yeah, because tight end is one of those positions where, like, not every team uses them, but when a team knows how to utilize their tight ends, it could make for a long day.
Very long.
Yeah, unfortunately, like early in the season, you saw what Brock Bowers and the Raiders were able to do against our DBs and our safeties, and he had a pretty good day against them. So it's on us to find a way to stop Kyle Pitts. All right, let's move on to the Broncos offense. So Courtland Sutton, you know, he's Bo Nix's favorite receiver right now, and he's had a few good games in a row. He had 200-yard games in a row, and then he had 70 yards last week and a touchdown. Mike Hughes is not playing. He's out. That probably would have been the matchup that we saw all day. So I think it'll be another good day for Courtland. So let's just say Courtland Sutton versus the Falcons DBs.
I think Courtland's going, like you said, it's going to be another big day. I think this is where Bo Nix and Courtland, they now starting to get their mesh. Like you said, the last 2 weeks, they put up almost 100-some yards both games, 100-plus yards. And to be able to do that in a consistent week back-to-back, it just shows where this offense is projecting themselves to go. Yeah. And they taking better big shots. I think Bo Nix is making the better reads and taking the better shots downfield, where you see Courtland only one-on-one matchups. He's throwing safeties off by looking them off and taking the shot. He's progressing. Yeah. And when you see things like that happen in the season where these guys got a big chance to go into the playoffs, only see bigger things with our guy over there, Sean Payton, drawing up for that boy Courtland to go out there and put on the big show today.
Yeah, I think Courtland, you know, he makes the catch. He's a top 10 wide receiver. I always say that. I get a lot of flack for it. My boy Yahir is smiling at me right now. But it's the way I feel, man. When he gets his opportunities and he, you know, catches the ball, I think he's a very dominant player. All right, last one we got. Once again, like I said, I sat down and talked to Justin Simmons about coming back into Broncos country, you know, playing at Mile High. And, you know, I asked him just straight up, like, you've had a lot of interceptions in your career.
Yep.
But what would an interception mean to you this Sunday? He was like, it would be my favorite one. Like, hands down, I would love this interception more than anything, like coming back into Broncos country. So my last, matchup is Bo Nix versus Justin Simmons. You got an old salty vet versus the young rookie. Young rookie is playing well, but I know Justin Simmons would love to get an interception this week.
This is where we take advantage of him. He's gonna be eager. He's gonna be out there trying to jump
eager,
routes.
you think?
He's gonna be trying to jump routes. He's gonna think Bo Nix ain't gonna know what he's doing out there. This is a savvy young rookie, and I think Bo Nix he's out there making the smarter reads as we got later into this season. He has not failed us.
Yeah.
He have not thrown too many interceptions. This is not what this kid does. He go out there. He has now made. Let me not call him kid. This young man does not do. He goes out there and play great football, and he execute at a high standard, and I can't doubt it. I remember at the beginning we was like, we don't know. We want to see be more consistent. We want to see. Bo has now showed up, has now been player of the week last week.
Yep.
Shout out to Bo Nix, went out there, did his things, and this is the game that you go out here and you take advantage of a DB group who think they ready for a challenge.
Yep.
And now we get these guys biting up. Estimate, I think this is day. They're not so good on the run over there that well. Estimate come in, he start balling. We get this run game going and we take some shots on these guys and we put some points on the board and we win this game.
I'm right there with you. I feel like this team, they're a very average team on defense. I think they're 24th in the league in total defense.
You heard it. They're very average.
It's just the facts, you know what I'm saying? I can't lie to you, you know what I'm saying? The stats are the stats. But today they'll be a little bit better. They'll be 25th in the league in defense. So I hope that the Broncos are able to put something together. But before we go any further, I got to tell you about our friends over at Coors Light. If you guys want to choose chill between work and stress, and if you're stressed about today, you don't have to be. I think the Broncos are going to be able to get a win, so you need to get yourself a Coors Light. You can choose chill. And if you want Coors Light delivered straight to your door, you can go to Instacart. Use CoorsLight.com/DNVR. You got to celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company in Golden, Colorado. Now, I got to point out this sign because I think it's 100% true. I think the Atlanta Falcons have, a lot of great players on their team when you talk about their roster. But I think this sign that says, "Hey, Atlanta, your bark is worse than Mike's bite." I think that's true because I think on paper it looks good. They look good on paper, but I think as a team they haven't gelled yet, and they just aren't able to get it done as a unit. So let's talk about this defense a little bit, the Atlanta Falcons defense. They're not a very good unit. I think that Sean Payton could run the ball or throw the ball in this defense, and their biggest problem is they're not getting to the quarterback. Grady Jarrett has 2.5 sacks, but the team as a whole has 9 sacks through 10 games.
And that's why I think they're struggling a lot. When you can't play complementary football, you can't help your DBs on the back end. Teams is just taking shots on them, just picking them apart. And that's why they're where they're sitting at right now. Where they could be much better because their team is not bad, like you say. But when you have a group who can't put pressure on the opposing team's quarterback, you make the game that much harder, that much longer, and now you become an inconsistent team, and you can't go out there and win games you need to win. And our team is not giving up sacks.
Yeah,
we are a team who pride ourselves in pulling out up front, and I think our O-line. Last week I was a little tough on them, but this week I feel like we're gonna do a great job of keeping our quarterback clean. And this is where Bo Nix go, and he become escape artist in that back pocket, and he's keep himself clean. Sorry, Jurrell ain't really doing what he's supposed to do for that team to produce. We would love to see him performing this year and doing his thing. Me being a D lineman, but. We're glad he's not doing his thing at this moment of the year, right?
Yeah. I think this is a time for Bo Nix and Sean Payton to really dial up some deep passing. You don't have to be afraid of your quarterback not having time to push the ball down the field.
Definitely.
We haven't done it a lot. It worked well with Courtland last week, but maybe we try to hit Troy Franklin again. We get little Jordan Humphreys involved on some downfield routes. You're going to have time against this defense. They don't blitz very often, and when they do, they're just not getting home. So I think it's a perfect opportunity for Bo Nix and Sean Payton, to put together a highlight reel type day for Bo Nix throwing the football.
So do you think this will we start to see a lot more play action in this dialing up where they can blitz but they don't normally hit, so therefore you leaving zones open?
Yep.
Do you take advantage of that, or do we still go for those deep shots that we do, those deep in routes, those deep out routes, and go for or do we cut those routes down here, quick slants, hit those 5-yard ends, and hit those zigzag routes to get guys wide open in those zone spots? What do you think how we attack this?
I think you do it all, man. Versus this defense, I think you start off with the quick stuff, and as soon as they get into defense to stop you from hitting the quick slants, okay, now let's go deep. I think you have opportunities to kind of dictate the game. You don't have to let the Falcons dictate this one for you. You can do whatever you want.
Definitely. So my question would be, do we necessarily start running the ball? Because I know Sean Payton, it's like one of those games where you open the game up with like 10, probably 8 runs at the start of the game, with a quick little dump to one little quick running back, a little screen pass. I think this is like one of those games where you start getting those run games going, so we could start taking advantage of this DB that's a little beat, defensive group that's a little beat up, for sure. Yeah,
we got to be able to run the ball. I think that's why they made the switch to Estime. I think he's a bigger back. You play a lot of teams that are in nickel, which is, 5 DBs on the field. Like, you got to be able to have somebody that can power through the first tackle. Even if you're getting 2 or 3 more yards, it adds up. Definitely. And nobody wants to tackle, a downhill running back for 60 minutes.
It's time. Boy, that boy run hard.
Man, if he holds onto the football, I don't have any wood to knock on. Can somebody knock on wood for me so that he holds onto the football for us today? But when he does, I think he's very, very good. He's able to, make the first guy miss, and also, be able to get downfield. So
definitely, it's gonna be a beautiful one to see out there.
I think I look for it to be a good day for him in this Broncos offense. So let's talk about the Broncos offense a little bit more. The O-line, I think they've been doing well.
They've been doing very well.
Outside of that field goal.
They've been doing very well outside of the field goal.
Yeah.
The field goal had me a little tight last week.
That was rough, man.
And the only reason they was that way because they was my game changers. And I expected a lot out of my game changers that week.
Yeah.
But, no, the O-line been doing a phenomenal job. Talking about just being able to make lanes for Estime when he do get going.
Yeah.
Those when he's getting rolling, I think, the O-line is producing holes that, like I always say, my big self can run through.
Yeah.
The holes are pretty beautiful. Now, when our run game's not showing up, it's because our O-line is not producing there.
Yeah.
And that just a testament to how good our O-line really is. When they want to show up and really perform, they can be a dominant front up front. And we want to see that today, right?
Absolutely.
We know that we can keep Bo Nix clean. We know he's going to be great in the passing game. The O-line is going to hold it down. They're going to keep Bo Nix clean as possible. But let's see y'all dominate in the run game so we can get this pass game really flowing and get our offense putting up big numbers on the scoreboard, right?
Yeah.
When you can dominate in the run game and dominate in the pass game, it just makes the offense that much easier.
So I got to ask you, because I haven't got your opinion. Like, everybody knows what happened with the O-line and Forsyth last week with that, field goal and, whatever. But as a coach, if you're the coach, do you clean him up and put him back in this week? Or do you say we have to find another body to kind of fill that spot immediately?
It's kind of tough, right? So I'm like this. From the outside in, I'm like, all right, it's what it is.
Uh-huh.
Let's see him one more time, right? It can't be that big deal. But as I go back and I see film after film after film, it's a time where a coach got to say, hey, guys, it's time to pull you.
Yeah.
It's time to pull you. Because after watching the film, and I went back, because I wanted to see. I'm just like, it's not real. It can't be possible.
Was this your first time, or do you do this every time?
He does this every time.
Yeah.
And it's I don't know, the teacher technique is not a teacher technique where we fall on our back.
Yes.
And so, therefore, I got to pull you out the game and find somebody that can do the technique properly.
Uh-huh.
And so, watching the game, he never steps. He just anchors backwards, and as soon as you sit down, there's no power.
Yeah.
And he just falls straight back. And so it's an anchor step where you anchor your foot, lock on with your guy next to you, and you brace yourself.
Yeah.
You never drop your butt back and sit down. And every time on the snap, he does it. So I don't know, Coach. I don't know if you're watching this or not, but time to watch film and get that guy out of there. We're going to have a lot of block kicks this year.
It sounds like you got the technique. How much would the Broncos have to pay you right now if they just say, hey, look,
boy,
you don't got to practice. You don't got to practice. You don't got to just come in. Yeah, and lock us in on the field goals.
Man, I don't need much, I'm taken care of. I don't need much.
Just give me a little something, I'll go in there. That's what's up. All right, before we head out of here, we got to get to our Bet365 pregame picks. You can download the Bet365 app and use code DNVR365. Deposit $10 and place a bet of $5 to get $200 in bonus bets and a code for the first 2 months of Altitude Plus, courtesy of Bet365. You must be 21 and older and physically located in Colorado. Please gamble responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. Now, every week we put together, 3 picks that we feel like will make you guys money. And I got to say that we've been on point the last couple weeks.
Cash.
Whether it's Courtland yards, whether it's touchdowns, whether it's Bo Nix. I mean, I can't say that we're 100%, but, you know.
We're about there, though.
We're getting close. All right, so the first one I got for you guys is Courtland. Anytime TD is plus 175. He's had a few TDs this year. He had one last week, and I look for them to kind of replicate the success he had last week and his ability to win even against top-tier corners one-on-one.
And that's where the anytime touchdown comes into play, right? This is not like we need him to go down and get a 50-yard bomb or nothing like that. Courtland right now, the goal line matchup in this game is pretty much we got to go. We got to target that.
Yeah.
I think, we get in those situations, we got to target him as many times we get in that red zone situation, let him go up, be big boy ball in this game for sure. So I think that's a great bet. Anytime in the game we get down in that red zone, that ball going up to the Courtland, that's big-time touchdowns.
Yeah, because he's our best receiver, and they're missing their best corner. Like, there's obviously a mismatch to start the game. Like, we have to attack that, and I hope that we do. All right, next one is Adam Troutman, 25 yards is plus 400. Now, this one's a little bit of a stretch. He has gone over 25 yards twice this year. He did it last week with one catch for 34 yards, so it's very doable. But I just feel like because we talked about it, they're not a team that's going to get after the quarterback very much. I think there's going to be, multiple people that Bo Nix can pass the ball to, so I think he'll have time. He'll maybe be able to use the tight ends a little bit more. So hopefully he has a day like he did on National Tight Ends Day, over about 84 yards and a touchdown. Like, I need a day like that from my guy Adam Troutman.
We definitely would love to see it myself. I think that's a good one, just for our offense to get clicking, right?
Yeah.
We need to see one of those days. And not even just that. I think this is Sean Payton's time to start dialing up some more of those type of plays where you get your tight ends and you get those screen plays more involved. He likes screens. Let's get the screens more active, and not just to your running backs, not just to the receivers. Get those tight ends involved.
For sure.
Those tight ends are a big key out there when you don't got a pass rushing group that can get to the quarterback. The quick little delay block, let your tight end slip out, catch a little dump, and get going. Yeah. I think it'd be big to see the tight end because he's a big screen guy. I would love to see more screens.
We actually haven't seen as many screens as you would expect from Sean Payton.
No, not at all.
That was his bread and butter his whole career in New Orleans. And he did it a little bit last year, but I do look to see a little bit more screens like you're saying. Last one we have for you guys is Nick Bonito, sack, plus 135. As you guys know, Nick Bonito has been lighting it up. He's been playing really, really good football. He could have had 4 sacks last week. His ability to get after the quarterback was really good, and I look for him to have another good week this week and just record a sack.
I think that's going to be big. Not even just that he's going to get the sack, just that front period.
Yeah.
Zach Allen, Franklin, Jones, Agent Zero over there. I'm blanking on his name right now. Agent Zero over there. Cooper.
Yep.
He over there balling out. So when you got guys across the board who can go get after the quarterback, Nick Bonito, man, he's going to have dang near 15, 20-some sacks by the end of this season. And he keep rushing the get-off he got, the ability to just hit different moves throughout the game. He ain't just stuck on one move. We're going to see him probably hit 20-plus sacks for sure by the end of the season.
I think he definitely can get there just because he has the ability to win his one-on-one. And you talk about the guys up front, you mentioned them, Jonathan Cooper, Zach Allen, DJ Jones, like, you can't double everybody.
Not one bit.
And they've been choosing to leave Nick Bonito on the island one-on-one, and he's been winning his matchup. So I look for him to do that more. And I look for the Broncos to get a win. You got a score prediction for this game?
I see this been a tight game. I don't see a big game going. I see about probably like a 24-16.
Okay.
Yeah, 24-16 Broncos for sure.
All right, I think that's what my score was. I think I had 24-17 when we did the original prediction. So we're on point, we're on par. I look for the Denver Broncos. They call what do they call the Dirty Birds?
Birds.
We got to do these boys dirty, right?
Yes, sir.
We got to do these birds dirty.
No fly zone around here.
Exactly. The no-fly zone is back in town, and I look for the Broncos to have a great day defensively. And let's go get a win, man. And if you guys want to check us out, we will be on the Broncos post-game show after the game, wrapping it up, talking about what we see, and I'm sure we'll do a good breakdown. No, Sean will be back. It'll be a lot of fun, man. So come check us out in the post-game show, and we'll see you guys after the game.
Let's go.
We all silly like the mayor.